What's going on, you guys? Thanks for joining me again. It's me, Coach Johan, back with another video for you guys about something strength and conditioning related. We are in the big gym now. We're moving up, so I'm glad you guys can join me. Let's talk about something that a lot of my folks are getting into, jumping rope. So the first thing that might cross your mind is, dang, everybody's used one before, but it's impossible or really hard to do a full program on jumping rope. You're asking me to do like this motion for what, 15 minutes straight? Part of programming any program with a rope is being able to sustain and change your tempo so that when you're actually flipping your rope, okay, you're sustaining. Then you're shooting up with double unders, with high knees, with butt kickers, whatever, and you're back down to regular, okay? It's going to be a challenge, but I think it's one that you'll, get used to. And as with all of our videos, you can join in with me for the full 15 minutes when we get it in, when we do our jump rope. Because that's what I'm gonna show you guys how to do, how to set up a program in about 15 minutes, all right? First though, it's important to talk about a couple things you want to remember is you want to keep your body pretty straight up and down, and believe it or not, even though you're obviously leaving, you're breaking your own inertia and coming off the ground, you actively want to try to land in the same spot. So you're actively jumping off, right? But as soon as you get to the amortization or this negative amortization in the air, you actively want to push your body back down in both directions. That's going to re-engage it onto the floor and actually help you maintain kind of a steady clip of jumping rope. We'll go over it. You want your arms to be kind of right around here in your pockets, as I like to say, thumbs out here like you're the Fonz or something. And then what you want to do is you want to kind of squeeze from your shoulders and straighten this whole side body and spine up. And lastly, we're going to talk about how to strength train. We're going to use kettlebells and we're going to work that kind of stretch shortening action, right? And this movement pattern within your legs. So, grab your jump rope and let's get started. When I first started, it was more like one of these ones. You got the ball bearings on the inside. You got ones that are more like bushings. You have speed ropes that have this handle. It's very lightweight and it's thin and it glides along the rope. Inside the handle, there's as little mechanism as possible, right? You're gonna have the ball bearing here. You're gonna have an adjustable screw here. This is like, I don't know, if you were gonna do some kind of jump rope competition, you're serious about your double Dutch game, you use one of these. And I got two of those here for the gym. You can go noticeably faster. You see how thin it is. There's like no wind drag. It's real aerodynamic. That's great. But for all intents and purposes, this one is real good. You could go and get one for what used to be $5, probably about $7. And they're plastic. They have really lightweight, thin handles. Sorry, like one of these. And that'll do you just fine. If you're really intense, what you'll do is you'll go ahead and get some of a, these are bearings, so you can get like a lubricant and keep these nice and loose because, the more resistance you have, the harder it is to turn them. And then, of course, there are these. I think these are super overrated. These are weighted. You can have the weights inside the jump rope. I'll unscrew this. If you were a smuggler, this would be a great place to put your work. But there's weights inside of here. And this is just kind of a weighted rope. There are advantages and disadvantages. I never really understood why you wanted to use your ropes as weighted because all the weight's not in the actual rope. So it's like you're just burning out your hands. Didn't understand that one. And lastly, I've seen ones at kickboxing and Muay Thai gyms that are like literally a thick ass piece of rope or plastic anyway, and they hurt if they hit you in the toes. Like you will not quite bruise, but man, if you miss, and you will miss, it hurts. Those are intense. Those get you going, but back to what we really need. This right here is what I've always used from day one, and it's the perfect balance. It's got a good weight to it. The handles fit my palm really well. These ones are a little small, the handle could be a little longer for me, but in a pinch, you just tie that one up into a bow, and then you have a shorter rope. As for height, I'm gonna hold it up to my hip, kind of like getting on a bike. And this is where the seat would be on a bike, like here. I know this is the black rope and I'm in all black today. You got this one at the hip, and I can see there's a little tiny bit, maybe like, I don't know, 4 inches of slack on the floor. Hip, we're good, and there's slack on the floor. I know I'm gonna have a little leeway. When I start my rope, notice that I try to stay stable. There's 2 schools of thought on where my feet are gonna go. Am I gonna land with a full flush sole, eccentrically immortalize, and then come up into my hop every time? Or am I just gonna stay on the balls of my feet? Well, we want to engage the whole leg, especially when we start doing our double unders. And for a lot of physiological and mechanical reasons, like there is an advantage to staying flat and bouncing on that whole sole of your foot. All right, so what we got right here is just a nice stiff body, nice plumb line with my whole body. My head isn't jutting forward. All the compensations that I normally have in my body, they're not present. I'm nice and stiff and I'm straight. Where I'm flinging from is gonna be the wrists. I'm gonna flick my wrists forward every time. Flicking the wrist, that's it. I'm not doing this. Most folks who come into the gym, they have a tendency like this. And not only are you using a lot of energy, but it's impossible to control your body. Like, hey, let's get into some sets. Find your rhythm here. Oh, let me add, you're going to trip, all right? So the baddest athletes and the fighters I've ever been around, every once in a while you'll see them stop and trip. Recovering when you trip is a skill, you'll learn it, but if you mess up, just step right through, tighten up your rope, and begin again. But that's going to happen a lot. This is just gonna be your 2-legged hop, regular hop, right? So right about here, we're gonna bring in our first change of tempo. All I'm gonna do is go right to left. Okay, here we go. I put all the weight on one side and I'm back over. Let's go for about 20 seconds of this. When you get great at that, and all I'm doing here is I'm hopping on 1.5 legs. And what I mean by that is, or 1.5 feet. One of my feet, the heel is up, right? A little bit more than the other one. Let's go back to regular. So as I start to warm up right here, you guys, I'm gonna slow it down. I have full control over the speed of the rope. Because I'm using my wrists. If I start using my arms and my big muscles, my biceps, my chest, I'm gonna get all out of balance with my rope. Good. We're coming up on our next interval here. All right, let's go again. We're gonna go side to side for 15 seconds. So another thing, the grip of the rope is a little loose. I don't wanna grip it too hard because that allows me mobility in my wrist. And I'm just kind of hopping side to side, you know? Like it's all gravy, like there's nothing wrong. We're gonna go a little bit longer for 5 more seconds. Now I'm on the toes. now I'm back. Full floor. Good. And again, I'm just gonna find a nice tempo here. That was your first 3 minutes. Guys, when you start doing this rope, you get a little wild, you'll notice that you're hopping all over the floor. Not only are you more likely to botch it, but you're more likely to not be able to do all the cool stuff, all the fun stuff, all the savage stuff, all the high-level technical stuff, all right? Speaking of which, we're gonna go into our butt kickers. We're gonna throw the heels back, and we're gonna walk back and forth. All right, 15 seconds of this. The next 2 intervals we do will be a little bit harder. Good, and I'm back on the pads of my feet, the sole. Alright, you guys, we're coming up on another minute. We're gonna add in some high knees. Bring the knees as high as you can. Nothing to it. 5. And back to a regular tempo. Finally dropping the sweat, so good. Keep going, you guys. As I work and jump, all I'm gonna do is that. I'm jumping, I just do this. Jump, 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 boom, 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 boom. Can you do this? Well, then you can do a crossover. We're gonna do it with that regular motion. All right, we have this, and we'll do one advanced move, and that's it. Ready? Go. Make up for lost time there. Oh. 10 seconds. Good. That one was good on the calves and the tibia. Never forget one of the things I saw an older boxer do when I was a lot greener. He would jump rope and he'd make this like square pattern. I always thought that was so dope. try it. We're coming up on our last minute. We're gonna do high knees with the crossover. We're gonna go for 15 seconds. I am starting to get a little fatigued in the feet, actually, only. And I do recommend more athletic shoes than the ones I'm wearing. I like to train my feet. I always wear flat shoes. I got flat feet. I think they strengthen the feet. That's the only place I'm feeling fatigue, actually. So, even though that's happening, I'm making a little bit more mistakes. But again, it's all about recovery. Here we go, 5, 4, 3, 2, 5, 4, and high knees, all right? Cross it up, good. And just keep the knees up. Good, my posture's still intact, isn't it? Except for the knees. Good, stay with it. And shake it off. So that was great. Nice job, you guys. That was only 10 minutes. Of course, hey, you can go much longer if you want to. You can just do a half hour of that. You can burn over 600 calories in that half hour at that kind of a rate. See how we adjusted the tempo? We established regular as our baseline early. And every minute or so, we changed for 15 seconds into something else. That something else, whether it was high knees or crossovers, is an uptick from that regular spot. That allows us a natural interval. And that's what I like about the rope, right? Is that I get to decide when my intervals are by changing the technique. I want to get to my favorite thing, which is strength. How would we help jumping rope? Are we going to strengthen our feet? Are we going to do agility? We're going to work our kettlebells. So go ahead and grab 2 of your favorite bells. Sometimes a lot of us turn strength training into chess when it's checkers. The more that you replicate a singular movement is the better you're going to get at that movement. It's very simple. Where it gets kind of weird is like doing a ton of push-ups. I understand the mental toughness involved in doing 150 push-ups in a row in under 5 minutes, for example. That's all about your mind. But strength-wise, you're just getting better at doing push-ups, and that's just one example. Well, that's great, except you never, ever, ever push yourself up off the ground, arms first. Like if you drop like a $100 bill on the ground, you don't fall to your chest and then push yourself back up. That'd be ridiculous. Instead, use your full body. So when we strength train, we have the specific amount of work or the modes of work in mind, but we have something we like to call progressive overload also in mind, which is getting the muscles and the movement patterns involved, pushing them to their limits inside the gym so that you can perform outside the gym. That's true conditioning. What were we doing just now? A lot of this. Very simple, right? Well, I could just stand here and do this, but that's not really overloading my muscles. Jumping rope is actually harder than that. I could get a weighted rope, sure. But as I mentioned before, using that weighted rope has a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of like consequences involved. It's like too tall an order to like use the heaviest jump rope you can find. You might take a toe off, grab 2 bells. We're gonna gunsling, but we're gonna split them up into a split swing. All right? All I'm gonna do is 1 minute of split swing. I'm gonna face that way to show you how my knees are gonna go. So we remember our kettlebell holds and everything. Let's get after it. Remember, you guys, you wanna use each arm individually, even though we're swinging at the same time. This is a bilateral exercise. One arm stretches while the other arm flexes in both directions equally. Use the program we learned today, the jump rope program, as part of a mesocycle, right? So maybe you do 1 week on, exchanging interval times, 15 minutes one day, 30 minutes the next day, but low intensity. Do that for a week straight, maybe even 2 weeks, but then take a little time off, another week. Then go back to what you were doing. Try that for 1 or 2 months. Then take a few 3 weeks off of your jump rope. This is the best way to program it. Until the next time, you guys, thanks for listening.